Dazed and Confused, a movie about drinking, smoking, and driving around because this town fucking sucks and there's nothing to do here. In all seriousness, I love Dazed and Confused. This is one of my favorite movies of all time. And I don't even think it's necessarily the best movie ever or consideration for that, but it's just so good because of how it presents itself. Dazed and Confused was directed by Richard Linklater. Linklater is a legend in film, and he's done a bunch of other things after Dazed and Confused that are equally as amazing.
You sure about that?
But I think Dazed and Confused is his best overall. I say this because of the simplicity of the film. You get a cast of characters who all kind of want their own things. They have their own motives, their own agendas. They come together because they are forced in the same spot, and that is high school.
How do you do, fellow kids?
High school, a government-ran facility that traps people inside. And no, it's not prison, but to these students, it feels like it. Their problems aren't that serious. They're very minuscule to what the real world offers. But to them, to these people in this film, everything means so much, and especially to Randall Pink Floyd, who is the main character. Randy's big problem in this film is that his coach is making him sign this pledge that says,
I voluntarily agree to not indulge in any alcohol, drugs, or engage in any other illegal activity that may in any way jeopardize the years of hard work.
And he doesn't want to sign it. Of course he doesn't want to sign it. He doesn't want to be confined to the pressures that high school football brings. I understand. At 17, where he is in this film, he's just becoming a senior. He wants to be his own person. He doesn't want to follow the rules of conformity that society's, essentially pressuring him to be.
Everyone's just walking around like a bunch of conformists. They're all zombies racing to their graves.
And that is through high school football. And let me tell you something. I played high school football, and it's really not that serious. Randall makes a few comments throughout the film that kind of explain how he's feeling, but it's not towards the end when they're on the football field. We really finally get the full picture when he's sitting next to none other than Matthew McConaughey's character, David Wooderson. Now, Wooderson and Pink are really great friends. Wooderson has been removed from high school for a few years now, but he's still hanging around, which is sad in its own merit.
You are one pathetic loser.
Wooderson is an older influence, and he's really just what high school kids think is badass. But he's really not badass. And you see this juxtaposition where Wooderson is saying, you gotta keep on
living, man. L-I-V-I-N.
And Pink pretty much just says if he starts referring to these days as the best days of his life, that he should,
Yeah, look, man, all I'm saying is that if I ever start referring to these as the best years of my life, remind me
to remove myself from the equation.
Not every character is driving the narrative. I mean, some characters are just kind of stereotypes, like Slater in a lot of ways, but his character's great and he has a lot of personality, even though he plays that stoner role. Or even like O'Banion, played by Ben Affleck. Yes, fucking Ben Affleck.
You knew I was gonna find you. I would like to dedicate this first lick to your mother.
Dude is such an asshole, but he feels very genuine and authentic because there were guys like that in high school. Maybe not as extreme, maybe more extreme. It really essentially revolves around Pink signing this pledge form or not, but it's not like the movie's really like focusing on that throughout the film. And it was Quentin Tarantino who said that this movie is really just the perfect hangout movie. You can come into this movie pretty much at any point, kind of just sit down with the characters and enjoy what's going on. Nothing's too serious, nothing's too extreme, but you kind of just want to see what's playing out in these people's lives. It's a film that I feel nostalgic for, even though I never knew that time. The film takes place in 1976, and I wasn't even a conception during that time. I wasn't even a fragment of a thought. My parents were barely even speaking. And the movie came out in 1993. I still wasn't even a fragment of a thought. I was literally nothing. It wouldn't be until 2001 that I came to this planet and said, fuck yeah, here I am. But I feel nostalgic for this time because it is very romanticized. And people always say the grass is greener on the other side. You feel like maybe times were better in the past when things were more simple, but there were still so many fucking problems in the 70s. There's just that nostalgia factor that plays throughout this film, even for someone who's 23 that never knew the 70s. So the film kicks off May 28th, 1976. The students of Lee High School are getting ready for summer break. In high school, it was even better because you really had no responsibilities. What, you had to worry about football practice? You had to worry about what were you going to be having for lunch? Like who you're going to hang out with? So everyone's getting ready for summer break. School's kind of letting out. It's the final couple periods. And nobody gives a fuck. Who gives a fuck on the last day of school, especially past 12 o'clock? So we meet Pink and his buddies buddies as they're walking back into school, where he is talking to his girlfriend, Simone. We learn pretty soon on that Pink is kind of a playboy, doesn't give two shits about Simone, and that he's gonna be doing whatever the fuck he likes this summer.
Look, I'll probably get, hung up with the guys, maybe, later. Why don't we just, meet at the party?
How to spot a player.
We learn by their conversation that Pickford, one of Pink's friends, is having a party, and he's supposed to be picking up Simone. Again, he's not going to be doing that. Pink meets up with Pickford and Michelle as they're walking into school, and Slater's there just kind of fucking off. It makes it known right off the bat that this guy loves smoking weed.
How's it going?
It's fixing to be a lot better, man. What time is your party tonight, man?
9:30, man.
So after Pink's smoke break, he returns to class and meets up with a few of his friends. These friends are Mike Newhouse, Tony Olson, and Cynthia Dunn. With these characters, we know that Pink is friends with them, but they're not really like the cool kids. They're not the ones getting stoned, going to parties all the time. They prefer playing poker, talking politics, worrying about their future. Pink is talking to them. They're asking him to go play poker tonight. He's like, I can't. I don't want to do that. I want to party. And Mike, who is played by Adam Goldberg,
What's up? Stop!
is kind of like, I want to party too. It's going to be our senior year next year. We don't do jack shit but play poker, and I want to have a good time. Then Tony tells Mike about a weird ass dream that he had.
I'm getting it on, with what had this perfect female body, but the head of Abraham Lincoln.
Pink's sitting in the classroom when Don Dawson comes in, his friend, another football player, and gives him the pledge. We also learn that the now seniors are going to be paddling the fuck out of all of the incoming freshmen. And, well, I never experienced that in high school nor college. It's a bit extreme. Maybe in the 70s it was different. Like I said, I have no fucking idea. And then we have Siobhan, Jody, and Kay in the bathroom smoking, talking about Gilligan's Island.
Operator, wait, listen to me.
First, take a big step back and literally fuck your own face!
So when they come out, Jody meets up with Pink, Don, and Benny. She's pretty much just like, take it easy on my little brother, Mitch, because he is going to be a freshman, and just, come on, don't beat the shit out of him too hard. And this is what they have to say.
Little brother will be okay.
Thanks.
And then this is what they have to say.
Well, there's just a little bit of bullshit and all that, right? Major bullshit. He's a dead man. He's fucking dead.
So the three boys go over to the middle school during the middle of their own school to just taunt the 8th grade boys and to make them feel very scared of what's going to be happening to them. When they return, they meet up with Melvin and they're walking along where they see Coach. Fucking Coach. Coach is just a hard ass, and his assistants are hard asses as well. Just stereotypical football coaches. It's really spot on. Coach is like, you need to sign that motherfucking piece of paper or I'll fuck you up. Shit. Went a little too hard on that one. But yeah, he wants him to sign the pledge. And, they keep going along. Pink's kind of like, I got it right here. I'll do it. And then we meet O'Banion, played by Ben Affleck. And like I said, he is just a fucking dick. He is so hell-bent on hazing these upcoming freshmen. It's creepy. It's weird. I mean, the character's supposed to be like that. Supposed to be an obnoxious dick. And Ben Affleck honestly pulls it off very well.
Y'all ready to bust some ass?
So as Don and Pink are walking back to class, we have an important little dialogue piece where Pink's kind of like, the only reason I feel like we get girls or we do well is because we're on the football team. It's pretty much like our whole identity. I wish we could just kind of be ourselves or do something else and see if we got the same results. Don really isn't, all for that. He's just kind of like, I've been playing football, I've been doing well, and that's that. We then cut to Mitch and his two buddies trying to ask their teacher to get out of class early so they can make a run for it, so they don't have to endure the pain that O'Banion's gonna inflict on them.
50 of you are leaving on a mission. 25 of you ain't coming back.
And then school officially lets out. Everyone's excited. Everyone's happy except for the 8th graders because they're going to be getting hazed. But yeah, it's the end of school. Summer's officially here. It's time to fucking party. So the girls have their own little hazing ritual as well. And Jody meets up with this girl named Sabrina, where she kind of introduces her to the high school life. The girls' hazing isn't as brutal, I suppose, as the ones that O'Banion and his crew inflicts, but it's still really embarrassing, and like, who the hell wants to go through that?
Karma, you little slut, girl, you little little freshman! What?
But as that's going down, O'Banion and his gang are chasing down these 8th graders, looking to paddle the living life out of them. And he catches up with Mitch and Carl at Carl's residence. O'Banion is fiending for this. Luckily, Carl's mom comes out with a shotgun and tells him to get the hell off her property. So after the girls get hazed, Jody tells Sabrina that there's going to be a party tonight and she should definitely come. We cut back to Pickford, Pink, Michelle, and Slater all at Pinkford's house. This is where the party is going to be going down. They're all just enjoying some joints, buying some weed, when Pickford's dad comes into the room and says, there's a guy out there with kegs. Pickford's party essentially gets busted because of this. This fucks everything up because Pickford's dad's like, yeah, we're not going anywhere now. You're gonna order kegs to the house? Vacation's off.
Were you going to have a party here tonight, son?
I don't know what that was all about.
Start unpacking. We're not going anywhere.
Mission failed. We'll get them next time.
And then we get a little bit of a montage of some sorts where everyone's getting ready for the night before they, of course, know that the party's canceled. People are driving around. There's a lot of driving around in this movie. Like I said in the beginning, it's just going to be happening. People are just going to be driving around because what the hell did you do in high school? You fucking drove around, right? That's what I did, at least. I mean, we drove around, went to stores, went to places, of course, but no, there was just a lot of driving because there wasn't really shit to do. So Mitch is pitching in a baseball game with his buddies, and he knows that he's gonna get smacked around right after the game. O'Banion has showed up with his gang. It's just, there's no way of running from this.
I have come for you.
Pink also has a little bit of dialogue with these old timers. The old timers are pretty much just saying that it's gonna be a great season for you guys. You got a hell of an arm. And you can tell that Pink isn't really feeling that. So Mitch gets absolutely wrecked by these paddles. O'Banion doesn't let up, but Pink comes in to save him at the end, and it seems like Pink's actually going to be pretty cool with Mitch here. Takes him home. He says, you know, everything's going to be all right, and that you should probably pop out tonight to show these motherfuckers that you don't give a shit. We then have some more driving around. The characters have some dialogue in these scenes, but I really like the little scene we have with Mike, Tony, and Cynthia when they're in the car trying to figure out what they should do, talking about college, and Mike says he wants to.
I want to dance.
And then we cut back to Pink picking up Mitch at Mitch's residence, and when he gets in the car, we see none other than Wooderson, played by Matthew McConaughey. Hit that shit! Yeah, of course. It's Matthew McConaughey. He's great as the character of Wooderson. As everyone is figuring out the party's canceled, they roll up to the Emporium, a pool house where high school kids can drink, smoke, and just fucking party. This is where Mitch meets a girl he's kind of interested in. Then there's Pickford, Slater, Don, and some random guy, I don't know who his name is, in a car driving around, just totally toking it, hitting on chicks as they drive around. Slater's not too good at the girls. He gets called out for it.
Chicky later, chicky later.
Hey man, get off my case.
Man, fuck this shit.
But yeah, we just have some more really great dialogue between these characters. We start to learn more about them. The film cuts to the 8th grade dance that's going on, and we have Tommy, Carl, and John. Carl and Tommy are like, dude, we gotta bail the hell out of here before, you know, things go south. These guys are hunting us down. We just need to get out. So they do, and they leave. The teacher's like, hey, if you leave, you can't come back in. They're like, dude, shut the fuck up. As they're walking around town, the boys hear that O'Banion is right behind them, and they make a run for it. It's only John that gets caught in this moment, but he gets it pretty bad.
Squeal like a pig.
But hey kid, have a beer, because why the hell not? Back at the Emporium, the teens are hanging out. Mitch has met up with Sabrina, you know, because they're both in the same grade. Talking like, how the hell did you end up here? How'd you end up here? This is crazy. And then we get this line from Wooderson.
That's what I love about these high school girls, man. I get older, they stay the same age.
That fuck 'em up.
This line is maybe the most famous line from the movie, at least one of them. It's disgusting, creepy, fucked up. That line really encapsulates Wooderson's character. He is a 21-year-old, 22-year-old, and it's just fucking gross. But Matthew McConaughey, the actor that he is, and the performance that he pulls off in this film, I believe it was like his first movie, plays the character to a T. So now it's time for Pink and Mitch to smoke some J's with Don and Pickford. They're driving around town, fucking up cars. They don't give two shits, and they want to buy some beer. Well, as they're buying beer, everything goes fine, but a man pulls up on them with a gun saying that you smashed my car back there. They almost get caught, but they pull away at the perfect moment, and yeah, the guy starts shooting at them. back at the Emporium where Melvin asks Mitch to buy him a 6-pack. Mitch does this, goes in with the confidence, he's been listening to Wooderson. He says he's working for the city, deciding what he wants to do next, and he gets the beers successfully. As Mitch returns, he gives the beers to Melvin. Melvin hands them out, and then Wooderson says there's gonna be a party at the Moon Tower. Let's go! Yeah! So he starts spreading the word, he's gonna buy kegs, it's gonna be crazy, right? Anyways, Mitch had set up a plan with his buddies to get O'Banion back, because O'Banion needs this. I mean, O'Banion has been living on his high horse for too long, and they get him out in the open where he thinks he's gonna get Carl for some paddling. But they're up top with some white paint, and they totally get him. And then we have an awesome scene with Ben Affleck freaking out, telling everyone, fuck off, fuck you, whatever. And he leaves. As Cynthia, Tony, and Mike are getting some fast food, Wooderson pulls up on them with some of his friends. Slater's in the car as well. And he totally starts hitting on Cynthia. He just likes redheads, and he makes that very clear.
I love those redheads, man. I know you.
But Cynthia seems to feel him, I guess. At the Moon Tower, things are crazy, right? Kids are smoking weed, they're drinking beer. I mean, they've been doing this all night, but now it's at the Moon Tower. Things are a little bit different. Mike is walking around as they show up, and he makes a comment about someone smoking weed. This dude does not like that. And he says this famous line as well.
I only came here to do two things, man. Kick some ass and drink some beer. It's like we're almost out of beer.
He wants to beat the fuck out of Mike. And Mike is pretty angry about this little interaction. At the Moon Tower, there's some really great moments when they're actually on the tower and Slater's telling Mitch about the freshman who died back there just to scare him. And he has a great talk with Pink in his truck about how him not playing football will affect everyone else. We learn that Pink doesn't give two fucks about his original girlfriend as he starts making out with Jody. This all leads to Mike building up the courage to knock this motherfucker to the ground because of what happened when they first got here. He does punch him because he said that these things usually don't last that long. It's like 1 or 2 punches and everyone breaks it up. No.
Come on, man, you want some more, you fucking bitch! Come on, man.
Mike gets his ass beat, but you gotta give him credit. As the party is ending, the kegs are running out, people are going home. Slater's like, let's smoke a J on the 50-yard line. They all go out there, and that's kind of where I was talking at the beginning of this film, where Pink makes that line saying if he starts referring to these days as the best days of his life, he should probably. And you have Wooderson there, who has clearly never left the high school bubble, and it's just such a vast difference of who Pink wants to be and the thing that he can essentially turn out to be, which is Wooderson. As they're smoking the joint, a cop pulls up on them and they all get busted. Nothing really happens with the police, but the coach shows up the next morning to tell Pink about his responsibilities and what he needs to bring to this team this season. Pink pretty much tells him that I'm gonna be doing it my own way, man, and you can't tell me what the fuck to do. Mitch returns home as well, drunk as hell. His mom doesn't really mind, and the movie ends with the group heading to get tickets to Aerosmith. There are some really great Hangout movies that have come out throughout the years, but to me, none of them match the magic that Dazed and Confused has. It's the acting, the writing, the just simple story, the characters, everything that encapsulates such a great time, and one where you can kind of just hang out with old friends. Next video, we're going back to Friday the 13th. I know I took a little detour with this one, but I just saw this film again, and I wanted to talk about it. Thanks, guys. See ya.
George Washington, man, he was in a cult. And the cult was in the aliens, man. You didn't know that?